it's time for the next member of the zoo crew to be revealed. So, but before I do that, let me just say I want to give a shout out to an artist on Instagram. He creates magnificent smaller sculptures, kind of like I do, out of polymer clay, but he uses cosplay now, and that stuff is incredible. But anyway, his talent is phenomenal. He's making these like horror kind of sculptures, and there's just so much detail in both the sculpting and the paint. It's just amazing. So his name is Abandoned1969 on Instagram, aka Isaac. I will leave a link to his Instagram in the description box below. I encourage you all to go over there and say hi and just check him out, because oh my gosh, he is amazing. He has made some awesome, just creepy looking sculptures that you just freaking smile at. I don't know about you, but whenever I see something like kind of weird, like not weird necessarily as in super scary, but weird as in just kind of creepy looking, I just smile. I hate horror stuff, but when I see that kind of like weird kind of horror stuff, I just start smiling, and I absolutely love it. He's been reaching out to me a little bit. He's been following me for a while. He's given me a few tips on how to improve my art, and I truly do appreciate that. He gives amazing constructive criticism. He never like bashes me for my choices, but he just gives me, you know, small little encouragements and tips to get better. And he's also offered to send me a batch of cosplay so that I can try it out for myself, which is amazing. And he does not have to do that at all, so I really do appreciate it, and I just want everyone to go over there and give him some support, because he absolutely deserves it. He's amazing, he's talented, he's just an awesome guy, so please go check him out. But as for the video, we're going to be doing Fastback, which is the turtle character of the series. So one thing that was awesome about this, I got to include painting, obviously, sculpting with the epoxy a little bit, and also resin. So I got to use my three main crafting skills pretty much into one figure, and it was freaking awesome to do. Now I will warn you guys though, I tried to do something new for the audio. It still didn't work. Instead of a slight kind of buzzing that kind of goes in and out a little bit, now it's just like a constant buzzing in the background, which I don't know if that's a better or worse, but it's there. I am still trying to experiment on how to do the voiceover so there's not that buzzing sound, but you guys are just going to have to bear with me until I can figure it out. Now there's going to be, it's either come out already or it's going to come out. I'll put it here if it's already come out or when it'll come out, but there's going to be a video that's going to hint to be what the next custom is, so you guys can keep a lookout for that. So, but anyway, let's go on into the video on making Fastback the turtle. So, starting here with Touche Turtle, obviously you put it in hot water in order to soften the vinyl enough to try to tug off the head. I say try. The head actually came on pretty easy. It was the hat that I had issue with, and I ended up knocking a hole in the damn thing's head. So, like a second one that wasn't there before. But eventually I did get it off. Now, I have to use epoxy sculpt, unfortunately, to cover up the detail work in the skull, which is the first thing I have to do. Oh, by the way, I also cut out the sword that the thing was holding, and I did not sand the hand down afterwards. I had to chop a teeny bit of the hand off, not the full hand, but yeah, I forgot to sand it all the way through this project, so you'll be seeing that at the end. I apologize, but I had to use epoxy sculpt, unfortunately, to cover up the beautiful detail work that is in the shell of this turtle guy, Fastback, because the actual character, he's wearing a suit that completely engulfs his shell. So he's a bit of he looks like a bit of a chubbier character, so he is kind of cute that way, but I love turtles, and I honestly hated having to cover up this detail work in the shell. It honestly nearly pained me to do it, no joke. But I did, and I had to use my silicone tool and some water in order to smooth out the epoxy. Epoxy is good. After it's been mixed, it's it stays malleable for about 3 hours, so you have a long time to work with it. But yeah, I'm just trying to get it as smooth and round and perfect as possible, while not trying to cover up the little tail on the back side of the guy. So yeah, it takes a little bit of patience, but it's very easy to do. And even though it's already a turtle, I still have to redo the feet. I don't know. I mean, Funko honestly has a more accurate turtle than what DC did with this Zoo Crew. It's weird, but yeah, the Zoo Crew one on his boots, it looks more like a Ninja Turtle, I guess, with like just 2 toes. Meanwhile, Funko has a more accurate looking turtle foot, but anyway, so I am having to put a little bit of epoxy on the tip of the feet to make that indentation again with my silicone tool in order to make it more accurate. I also put epoxy all over the head, quite a bit of epoxy, honestly. The head is very heavy. I should have probably put in a small layer of tin foil in order to bulk it up before doing the full thing in epoxy. Not only would it have been more lightweight, it honestly would have been cheaper, because tin foil is a lot cheaper than epoxy scalps. But anyway, so I did do that, and it does take 24 hours to cure, so this is a day later. And I'm taking that sandpaper that I bought for Totoro, and I'm going over it. You can see what I kind of meant here in the Totoro video. Because this needs to be smooth and as perfect of shape for a head as possible, I'm going to go ahead and use my sandpaper just so I can have a larger area to work with. The large Dremel tool that I have, it's not very good when working with smaller figures. I really need to look into trying to get a smaller one. But this sandpaper will work for now. It does take a lot longer, but honestly it's worth it. And it's still not perfect, honestly, but it was a lot better than what it was on Totoro, so I'm actually very happy for this, like super happy. It took a while, and I did have to kind of go try to avoid the eyes again, just like I did with Totoro, but it was a lot easier here. It took a while, but it worked out perfectly in the end. Honestly, the best way to check to see if it is as smooth as you want it to be is just go ahead and put a layer of paint on there. Once everything is one solid color, it's very much easy, very, very much easy, way easier to tell whether it's smooth enough. And I do think I had to go ahead and do it a little bit more after this first layer of blue, but I did end up getting it, again, not perfect, but good enough for me. So I do end up painting the full head blue, and I have the head stuck on a pair of tweezers so that I can hold it easier. That's where it's it's just one solid goggle almost, rather than an actual mask. So I do find a way to work on that later. But for right now, I'm just putting the blue paint on around the eyes, and then I'm also taking that same blue paint and going around the body. So as you can see, I already painted the body blue, dark blue where it needed to be. And now I'm just going in with one of my nail brush tools, or nail brushes, and painting all the lines on the body. Now, for the body, and really the full figure, I took a classic picture of Fastback straight from the comics, and then a more modern cartoony version, and kind of combined the two together. It's still the same character, but they have minor detail differences in the design, and I just took what I thought looked best from both and put it in. It's very minimal, honestly, but chances are you're not going to find a picture on the internet that looks exactly like the one I have, because I just took a little bit from each version that I did. But I was just trying to make it the easiest and the best, honestly. And after I put that first layer of blue down, I do go ahead and put the first layer of the yellow for his turtle bill. He looks more like a duck, honestly, with this. I know there are turtles that have yellow beaks, but this made him look more like a duck to me. But anyway, the yellow took a while to build up. I needed to put a layer of white down first, but yeah, I got it eventually. Now for the fun part. In order to make the goggle has no strap on it, so I couldn't use epoxy or anything for it. So I break out my UV resin. UV resin is a clear substance, a crystal clear substance. You can add color to it. I'm not doing it here, but you can add color to it, and you have to cure it either in direct sunlight, and that'll take a couple hours, maybe a full day of sunlight, or you can use a UV light and do it in a matter of minutes, if not seconds. Now, I didn't work quick enough here. I was trying to do it one solid piece so that there wouldn't be a seam line, and it does spill a little bit. I tried wipe it away before I grabbed my UV light. It worked out okay. I had to sand some of the resin off because it was, in the wrong spot. I was running down the wrong spot. But I ended up doing about 2 to 3 layers of this, and once that UV light hits it, it cures fast. Like I said, seconds. So it was actually pretty easy to do. I was worried for a minute since it started to run, and I did test this, by the way. I tested it on another a spare pop head, because when UV resin cures, it gets hot. Like, I've done it in like metal bindings and stuff before, and after it's cured, I touched the metal and it burned. That's how quickly this thing heats up. So I wanted to make sure it didn't melt the vinyl, first of all. And thankfully it didn't. And I did spill a little bit on my workstation, so now I have a resin puddle, but oh well, I'll work around it. But anyway, I think it actually turned out good. It did make it, the paint darker because, it does wet the paint before it cures. But other than that, it was pretty good. And then, also, after that, off camera, he's got 2 little, I guess, ear places? I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be, on either side of his head. And I just put dots of resin for those as well. And then he's pretty much done. So he couldn't fit on the spinner, unfortunately, because he was way too top heavy, so I'm just spinning him around in my hand. But yeah, you can see I painted that resin, sanded it down a little bit more, and he looks pretty good to me, honestly. And I have him standing up there beside his 2 Zoo Crew buddies now. So this was honestly probably the easiest out of the 3 so far to do. And judging from what looks like is coming up ahead for me with these other Zoo Crew members, this might be the easiest one of the bunch. So, but we'll see. But I think he came out pretty awesome, honestly. I'm pretty proud of him. It still hurts me that I had to cover up that detail work for the turtle shell, but I think he turned out really cool, though. I don't really like the arm placement, but I didn't want to try to reconstruct a full arm out of epoxy for this, so we're dealing with that. But anyway, I really like it. Let me know what you guys think about this. My next project will not be a Zoo Crew member. I am going to try to alternate, so you guys don't get Zoo Crewed out. But I think you're gonna like the next one. I think a lot of people are gonna like the next one. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys thought, and thank you all so much for watching. Remember, like always, it's a community, not a competition, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.